Apollo scrapers are dead. Contact data is either 10 to 50 times more expensive overnight, or you pay the same and end up stuck messaging people that left their job 3 months ago. I found the fix. Data updates monthly, does everything Apollo, Lookalike, and Clay do with about 50% more data. And if you want to skip the video and dive right in, it's called AI Ark. If not, then this video is your full breakdown. Say hello to AI Ark. This tool is a tool I'm really excited about, especially since Apollo scrapers went down. And it's made by a guy who runs an agency servicing over 200 companies in lead gen. So it's built from the ground up to support high-level go-to-market outbound initiatives. The first thing that it's really good at is all of the things you love about ZoomInfo or Apollo for about 100 times less the price, especially now that scrapers are down, and it does it almost instantaneously. And when I say instantaneously, I mean your CSV exports are done loading in 5 seconds flat and ready to go. And they're stored there forever with the correct filters, everything you need, and they can be revisited at any time. So you're getting great account storage and contact storage. Plus, instead of things being refreshed every 3 months, they're refreshed every single month. So we can have the best data for all of our customers, and we can begin to consolidate the interfaces that we operate out of. So a big kind of bottleneck can be having to go from Lookalike to Clay to building lists in Apollo. And each of those platforms have their own kind of filter systems and little quirks. So what does it look like to prospect on this from a normal list building point of view? Well, you can go ahead and import a list of companies and start there, which if you've scraped a custom directory, that can be a great idea. Or you can come down here and just try the advanced company search. How are we using this for the most part? Well, since you're watching this video, I'm gonna give you a free little gift. I put together this little Claude project, including an MD file that's a link builder. So if you're familiar with Apollo and Apollo scraping, typically you would provide a link to the scraper and the scraper would pull the data out of that link. That link contains all of the prospecting information, and AI Ark actually operates in a similar manner. So you can take all of that prospecting information, shove it in the link, and then you get whatever you're searching for out the other end. Now, I've made this a shareable link, and I've included the file in the link as an upload that you can go ahead and download from the link and add to your own project, because I can't share projects. And what this will do is it'll actually build you a link. So if I say I really want you to build a link using Cursor, cursor.com, perfect, cursor.com as the starting prospect to build off. What this will do is it will take that, it will try to find their LinkedIn profile preferably, or if you can feed it the LinkedIn description or some of your deep research, this can give you a baseline set of keywords to build off of. And so what this is going to do is ask me questions to figure out exactly what I'm selling and other information that it believes it's going to need. And you can see here it's like code with AI, autocomplete. Oh, okay, awesome. So this is really good. Cursor is a fast-moving company. That's less than 3 years old, and they are between 51 to 200 employees. And I'm basically just looking for any AI adjacent company, whether it's agentic, AI services, or AI SaaS. And if you give it the kind of LinkedIn description, it'll even do a better job, and you can even feed it like screenshots. So this can be it's going to ask me more questions. Lead gen services, US market, company size targets, just that range. Don't worry about any other filters. Make the link. And so I instructed it to make sure that it fills in the gaps for people and the language that they need to actually get a reasonable kind of strategy out the other end. And what it's going to do is it's going to take all of this and make sure it creates a baseline link that you can then build off of. And so as you find false positives, you can actually just take screenshots of companies that you don't think align with what you're looking for. And you can sort of rapidly iterate on your searches to be able to figure out exactly who is worth targeting. So we've got Camb AI, we've got Tillman Fiber, telecommunications company. We've got this translation AI, we got Orascape, and already we're seeing a lot of companies that are reasonably aligned with what we were initially looking for. And so some of the really cool filters that you can use inside of, as kind of like the next segue into why it's a good replacement for clay. One of the best ways that you can use clay is actually going after a business based on who's already at the business, but also what is on their personal profile. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go by like who's at the business. In Clay, it's really easy to just build a list based on department number for very, very little, and then make a net new list to look for decision makers at that company, for instance. And so the use cases for this are when the value proposition of your product is kind of tied to universal usage, or the more people at a business that use it, the more valuable it becomes. And one of the things that could be, an example of this would be like a dialer software. If someone has 10 reps that are ramping up, they're probably going to be a little bit more compelled to use your solution. So we could say, look, I just want departments with, a minimum of 10 people in sales, and it's going to narrow down that list for you. And keep in mind that this, crazy enough, has like 30 to 40% more data than Apollo has at any given time. And before I switched over, I did the manual tests on a lot of businesses that I know very well, and did the line by line comparison between Apollo and those businesses on here. And it came out on top in 10 out of 10 tests, which really impressed me. It was able to find more contact data than anyone else. Now, that's one piece. Another really cool filter is year founded. And some of the things that they're going to be adding in the future, I've been working closely with the founder on this, is being able to push data directly to Clay. So you can orchestrate from Clay without having to, download and upload CSVs. And then number two, they're going to look to add search by job title, which is the one thing I think it's currently missing transparently. Being able to search by the job title on a team is a really powerful way to surface businesses. And I actually have an entire video on this that you can check out anytime. So we understand how it works for normal prospecting. We understand how you can build links quickly to surface relevant businesses. This is already at a reasonable point. We would do a lot more exclusions from here, but it's doing a pretty good job. Like Decagon is a pretty accurate business that we may want to contact if we were doing a cursor lookalike. But you can also do some really high level stuff via people search. So inside people search, you can actually search by very soon the number of followers that they have. But you can also search based on the keywords in their profile. So if you wanted like a very tech-enabled person at one of these businesses, you could, for instance, search their profile for LangChain. And then as it surfaces those people live action, you can see that there's 152,000 people that potentially have LangChain on their profile in a relevant location. But you can also sort by the location that it's in. So one of the things I love to do is look at their work history, right? So I'm going to actually get rid of course, award, patent, test score, organization, project skills, language skills, certifications. I'm going to get all of this out of the way because I actually just want people that are using LangChain as part of their work-related history. And so that's probably going to reduce the amount of people that show up quite significantly, 75,000. And then maybe I really just want customer support people that are actually playing around with, agentic chatbots. And that could be a way to filter down for, offering automation services, AI automation services to a company. And so maybe I say, look, current job title, I would love for it to just off the rip be head of customer service. And this might not be a lot of people, transparently. Oh, I also put it in the wrong location. And so once you map out kind of what a link does as it updates, customer service, and right now it's on exact match. So that's another kind of little cool thing. You can change it from exact match to sort of like adjacent titles as well. And you can kind of change the way it matches those records right here. Search smart match versus exact match, so on and so forth. And so we can actually go ahead and surface people based on what exists inside their profile, based on what we want. So if we wanted to go a little bit lighter on the search, because this is not enough people, we would go LLM. And maybe we can go like AI CSAT, customer service, or AI CSAT, right? And all of a sudden we're getting a much bigger kind of net that's being cast, and we can find people that are sorted by their focuses and responsibilities. Now, say you didn't want to go through that process of putting all these keywords in, you can take this link, right? And teach that same thing, that same model I provide, how to prospect on a person level, right? What this link means, what the context of each of these means, how to set up a link. And then you can feed this your client data or your personal company data and prospecting data, potentially your closed won list from your CRM. And you could actually have it build out a link for you directly based off your CRM data to be able to make sure that you're aligning with the people that actually have budget and want to buy your service. Really low-hanging fruit way to kind of figure things out, and something that we do with all of our clients. Mostly in Claude Code these days, though. Should be more videos on that coming soon. Now, the final thing that's amazing about this, and it's going to get better in about 2 weeks here, is their company lookalike search. Right now, it's definitely not like a full disco-like replacement, but it can lower the lift on creating pretty good company lists really, really fast. Think of it like a disco-like or an ocean replacement. And what it does is it works really well for companies that are over 51 people. And the reason it's quite good at this over 51 mark is because this company they're too new. They're too new. So apparently a bad example. We'll add Lovable in the mix, and they might not have enough information either, to be honest. And so we'll do lovable.dev. Great. And add them in. There we go. Okay. And then, I don't know, let's add like something like this. Gotta find the right website. There we go. Great. And we'll define similarity. And so it's really good at companies that are over 51 employees for the most part. For other companies, it's not going to be quite as accurate. Until 2 weeks from now when they roll out their small SMB data set to be able to have a better matching system for this. But you can see here, we've surfaced quite quickly 150,000 companies, and it's given us a good baseline to filter off of, right? We can start with these companies and then filter down from there. I'm already seeing companies like AirOps. I'm seeing companies like XAI. And so it's aligning pretty well with this like AI startup kind of vibe. Now, is this going to give you a one-shot perfect lookalike list? No, but there isn't a lookalike tool out there that's doing that right now, unless you're using like a deep research model to sequentially build out the list. But in terms of a great starting point, this puts you in a position to be able to, again, take your closed one, use them as lookalikes, and expand out your market quite quickly to find relevant and applicable businesses. Now, does that mean that that's the best way to prospect? No. What I would tell you is the best way to prospect is to focus on the situation. And that's why these extra filters are actually the most helpful. You might define your market as someone that is an AI-enabled customer service person, and then you'd be in a better situation looking for people on these companies that are similar companies that are doing AI-related customer service to get a really, really good list of maybe 8,000 contacts. And then same goes for the number of people in that sales department. The tool increases in value based on that point, and maybe it helps with ramp time. And so if they have 10 salespeople right now, they could be hiring around 3 a quarter. And so that ramp could be, an $80,000 problem that your tool can solve. So that's a quick breakdown for you on how AI Ark and how it kind of replaces the main prospecting tools right now. And it does it for really, really cheap. So coming back to how the plan works, you can actually go ahead and just export contact data if you want. And when you go to export data, the sort of beauty of this system is that it will let you export as little or as much data as you want on any given search. And so why don't we grab all the Mitchell Kellers really quick and select them. And so say I wanted to export all of the Mitchell Kellers, and there I am sitting there. So it has my data. Would have been pretty bad if it didn't. And I go to export that. I can choose how much data and how much spend I would like to have. Would I like the phone numbers? Would I not? Would I like profile insights? Would I not? Would I like email enrichments? Would I not? So on and so forth. And then based on your export template, you can actually decide on exactly how much information you export. You can see they have over 200 data points on every single company and person, including all of their LinkedIn profile data, which is fantastic because you can see how long someone's been around, how long they've been at a company, and use that experience for a lot of different things. So yeah, that's about it. There's a link for AI Ark down below. I would recommend you check it out and test it for yourself. Plus, a link to a Claude project that will build AI Ark prospecting links for you. If you're a founder-led B2B business doing over 1 million per year with a market of over 30,000 businesses and want a consistent flow of qualified sales meetings on your calendar each week, use the link below to book in for our 90-day sprint fit assessment. Or if you're not ready, I recommend you check out how we took an SEO agency from getting nothing from outbound to $220,000 in cash collected in 4 months.